So there were two men who got shipwrecked. Shipwrecked on a desert island. And the first man immediately said, "Oh my God, we're going to die. We're shipwrecked. What are we going to do?" And the other man was just sitting propped up against a palm tree, just humming. And the guy said, "What's wrong with you, man? Don't you know we're shipwrecked? We're going to die?" And the guy said, "No, I make $100,000 a week." And the guy said, "Well, what's that got to do with anything? What good is $100,000 a week going to do you on a desert island?" He said, "You don't understand. I make $100,000 a week. I'm a tither. My minister will find me." So, don't try to hide. No, I'm not talking about tithing today, but we are talking about prosperity. What is prosperity? It's kind of an interesting word. When I say the word prosperity, just notice what happens within you. What comes up for you? Is there some kind of feeling around that? Is it some kind of uneasiness, or is there some joy around it? There's some thoughts that come up about prosperity. Maybe you think that's all the church ever talks about is money. Whatever that is, I think it's important for us just to be with what is prosperity. What do we mean when we say that word? And I don't think there is, I think there are many different ways to experience that, to know this idea of prosperity. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said this about prosperity. True prosperity is the consciousness of abundance based on the understanding of God as the inexhaustible resource always open to man. Now, discounting the sexist language, true prosperity is the consciousness of abundance based on the understanding of God as the inexhaustible resource always open to man. So true prosperity, according to Mr. Fillmore, really has little or nothing to do with outer appearance. Prosperity is a consciousness. I would even say that prosperity is a divine idea. Much like love is a divine idea. Much like peace and joy and abundance. Those things are divine ideas. And that we all can align with those divine ideas. As Mr. Fillmore said, the divine ideas are the resources of God as we understand God, and they are available to all of us as a resource of divine ideas and energy and power in all that we can imagine in consciousness. In my book, which was interesting, I hadn't, not like I read it every day, but I have a little section on prosperity that I reread this morning, so I want to share that with you. And again, I don't claim these as David's words, but it says prosperity is a state of being. In the physical, prosperity is a reflection of the fullness of God as it expresses. Prosperity has nothing to do with money or possessions, although they may be the outward experience of prosperity. Prosperity is a knowing that all is now. All is given in every moment. Nothing is ever lacking. There is no need. Prosperity is our natural state. The universe withholds nothing. Prosperity is not something to be hoped for, neither is it something to seek. Prosperity is, you are, know it. It is yours. And so prosperity in that way from a spiritual perspective is a consciousness. It's an awareness. It's a knowing that God is the source of all. And we have access, unrestricted access to it. Now, how does that manifest in our lives? Well, how many of you know Edwene Gaines? Edwene Gaines is a Unity minister who many years ago said that she accepted the responsibility, that 100% responsibility for the prosperity consciousness of humanity. Not a small task. 100% responsibility for the prosperity consciousness of humanity, and at the time she said, I have no idea what that means or how to do it. But in her book, she's been teaching for many years, and she does workshops and retreats and speaks at many different places. She finally put it in a book form called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. In that book, and this is a paraphrase, this is what she says about prosperity, that it's a vitally alive physical body, satisfying, nurturing, and honest relationships, work that is not work, you love it so much, it's play, and all the money you can spend. How many want to sign up for that? So Edwene Gaines is talking about how that demonstrates in our lives, and this is her perspective on what prosperity means to her. Now, I think that what I think about the divine ideas, like prosperity, is that, like we teach about God, the energy that is God, the source, is impersonal in that it is no respecter of persons. It doesn't decide that you deserve and I don't. It doesn't decide that because you do something right and I don't, that you deserve all the riches and I am just supposed to be left with nothing. Prosperity, God as prosperity, as consciousness, is personal when we make it personal. Through our thoughts and feelings and words and actions, we give form to this divine idea of prosperity. And so it becomes personal to us. And so your idea of prosperity and manifestation may not be the same as Edwene Gaines. Yours may be, I just have enough money to pay my bills. Or I have money to pay my bills and to travel. Or I have enough money to pay my bills and send my children to college. Or I have relationships that are loving and supportive, or I have a perfect job, or whatever that looks like to you, or maybe you're retired. And so your idea of prosperity is not to have the perfect job, but to have outlets through which you express your creativity, your vitality, your giving. So I think it's personal. What my prosperity means to you may not be the same as what prosperity means to me in the outer. How it manifests. That's why we make it personal. That's how we make it personal. So today, I want to share with you what I am calling the 5 steps to prosperity. Now, you don't have to write this down, even if you're thinking you want to. I do have handouts that are back there on the table if you want to take them with you. 5 steps to prosperity. Now, I know that I just finished the 12 steps to transformation. And I know 12 steps is sometimes difficult to remember. 12 steps. This is just 5. You can count them on one hand. One hand. And these 5 steps are: God is, I am, I connect, I create, I act. 5 steps. God is, I am, I connect, I create, I act. And these 5 steps correlate to the 5 principles 5 basic principles of unity. 5 basic principles of unity. So I want to explore that with you a little bit now. Let me just say this for you, those of you who know the 5 principles and know the order that they're usually given. I am well aware that I've changed it. I'm well aware that I switched 3 and 4 because I think it's more important to connect before you start creating, personally. So that's why I switched them. So don't go telling the ordination board that I don't know the 5 principles. So here is how that plays out for me. God is. This is the first of the 5 principles. God is the source and creator of all. There is no other enduring power. God is good and everywhere present. Now, what I forgot to say is that I want to invite us into daring to believe. Daring to believe. If these principles are not new to you, then I am inviting you to go a little deeper. To dare to believe a little deeper. To take them a little deeper into your consciousness. Because what I'm thinking is that belief, when we exercise our power of belief, we open up to possibility. We open up to possibility beyond what we have considered thus far. So am I willing to believe? Even if I look at that and I think, oh, that's not true. You know, it may be totally new to you today. And it may be something totally different for you to consider some of these principles. I'm just asking that you dare to believe. Dare to just open up to the possibility that this might be true. And just see how that lands for you. See what you do with that. So God is the one source. Now here's the dare to believe. I'm going to ask you, if you want to open up to the belief, to say this with me, this last sentence. Let's say it together. God is the one source of all my good. Why is that so important? Because sometimes we lose sight of that. And we begin to think that the job is the source of our financial good. We begin to think even that our money is the source. I get confused and I think that you are the source of the money for the church. I do. I sometimes confuse that. But you know, you're not the source. The source is the resource that God is. There is one source. We are simply the vessels through which that source comes into being. Your job is not the source of your financial good. It's simply a channel through which God may express that to you. And so sometimes it's interesting how I will own it for myself, how I confuse that. I have this belief somehow that is sort of instilled in me that I'm really willing to let go of, that ministers can't make money. You know, so what's the source of my good? Is my calling to ministry the source of my good? Absolutely not. Are you the source of my good? Absolutely not. You can reflect it to me. You can be a channel through which it flows. So if you want to be a channel through which money flows to me, please open up to that. I welcome that. But there's one source. And there is no other power. That's important for us to remember too. There's no other power that can withhold my good from me either. I may give something my power. I may believe that something has power, like the economy. The economy has power to limit my good only if I give it that power, only if I place my belief in that. There is no power. There's no one in your life, no relationship in your life that has the power to withhold love from you. Love is your natural course, your natural flow. Is God moving through you? There may be another person in your life who reflects that to you, who may be a channel through that. But no person is the source of love in your life. Right? There's nothing external that can be the source, although we sometimes attach to that. So it's important for us to recognize there's only one source and to go back to that and back to that and back to that every time we forget it. The second is I am. We are spiritual beings created in God's image. We've talked about that many times. Dare to believe. Let's say this together. God, the one source, expresses in, through, and as me. Dare to believe that. Dare to believe that at a deeper level. Because I think we can also put our belief, our power of belief and faith in something else. That, is it advancing on its own? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Because we can tell ourselves that we're not that. And what does that do? When I'm telling myself that I am not that I am something other than that, I'm the one that restricts the flow. When I place my belief in my ideas of limitation, that I don't have anything to give, that I don't have anything to share, that I'm not talented, that I have nothing of God to move through me, and somehow I'm a victim of my circumstances, or I'm a victim of my birth, or I'm a victim of my family, or I'm a victim of anything, I'm the one who is restricting the flow. Dare to believe the truth that you are a vessel, a channel through which that divine source is flowing. And you, as you open to the awareness of that, get more into the flow. Dare to believe that. God is, I am. The third is, I connect. Through prayer and meditation, we increase our awareness of God. Okay? Dare to believe. Let's say that together. Through prayer and meditation, I know my unity in God and connect with the power of God as me. Prayer and meditation connect our mind with the source. Because I've talked about this in weeks past, but when we're over here in our daily activities, I will own it for myself. Sometimes when I get into my daily activities, I lose connection with that consciously. Now, I want to say we're never not connected, but in my conscious awareness, sometimes I lose sight of that. I tell myself other things. Through prayer and meditation gets us back into a conscious awareness of the flow. And in that conscious awareness of the flow, we are able to connect with the divine ideas of God. God's mind is filled with divine ideas. You are heir to the kingdom being the realm of divine ideas. And so as we connect with that through prayer and meditation, we begin to realize that. And out of that come divine ideas. Everything begins in consciousness. Right? Everything begins as an idea. Everything. And if we're connected through prayer and meditation, we're connected in the mind of God, then we sort of like become antennas to receive those divine ideas. And we open to allow them to flow through us, to demonstrate through us. So, God is, I am, I connect, I create. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking, and I added feeling. We create through our consciousness. Okay, dare to believe. Let's say that together. My consciousness creates my reality and determines how I experience life. How many believe that? My consciousness creates my reality. And I added, I think it's twofold. I think when we are connected, truly connected through prayer and meditation with the power, the source that God is moving in and through and as us, we connect with that power to truly, through our thoughts and feelings, create a mold into which this universal substance flows. To create in the physical. And it, as I said earlier, but it's created first in consciousness, in our awareness. Everything is created twice. First in consciousness and then in manifestation. And all too often, I think what happens is we move too quickly to this place of creating without connecting. That's why I wanted to put that first. Because I only want to create that which is in alignment with the divine ideas of God. And so as I connect with that, I can form that in my mind. You know, I was talking with somebody the other day, I think it may have been in our 5 Principles class on Tuesday, about how, and we were talking about it last night at dinner, about how things at one time are science fiction, and then they become reality. You know, it's like, who would have ever thought that you could hold a computer in your hand? Yeah. But where did that idea come from? Where did the idea for any of those things come from? It had to come from a connection with a divine source of ideas. And we take those things, sometimes we just take them for granted. I mean, I can see some people back here who probably never even had new life before the internet, right? I mean, they didn't. But where do these divine ideas come from? Can we imagine, are we willing to open up to what's next? What is next for us to manifest? What divine idea is ours to bring forth into manifestation? It's unlimited. Do you dare to believe that? That it is unlimited. And so the last piece is I act. The 5th principle says knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. So dare to believe. Please repeat this with me. Through my thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, I create a life that reflects my conscious awareness of God. Reflects my conscious awareness of God. I think, for me, sometimes I act before it's time. I try to make things happen. Does anybody else ever do that? Because I think things should happen in my time. Because I want them to happen in my time. But I think what's important for us to recognize, and that's why I thought connecting first in prayer and meditation, and then creating in our minds, in our thoughts and feelings. We talk about visualizing, the power of visualizing and feeling ourselves where we want to be, creating in consciousness. And then from that place, taking action. From that place, stepping out. To take the action that we are inspired to take in the moment. I know many of you have experienced that. When you think you're going to go one way and then you get an idea, well, no, I'm supposed to go this way. And then something shows up in your life, unexpected. It may be a person that comes into your life that gives you the information you've been seeking. It may be a book that falls off the shelf in front of you and has information that you need in order to go forward and to move forward. So it's being open and following the guidance. Much like we were talking earlier about Phyllis doing. She didn't jump into it immediately as she got this idea. She spent time with it, visualizing it, imagining, and then saying, yes, now it's time for me to take action. And so, this is sort of a beginning idea around prosperity. We're going to be talking more about it from different perspectives. But I'm just, again, encouraging us to dare to believe these principles. Dare to believe that God is the source, that you are a channel for that source, that you can connect with that source through prayer and meditation, that in that prayer and meditation, you are heir to the kingdom, you are heir to the divine ideas that God is, and you can create from that knowing and do whatever is yours to do to manifest that divine idea. So as we move forward this week, I just invite you to play with that. As I said, there are some handouts on the table in the gathering place where you sign up for things. If you'd like to take one with you, please do so. And just use it as a reminder of 5 basic principles, 5 steps to prosperity. And what I love about this idea of 5 is that when I know I've forgotten, I can always say, I need to go back to this one. Or I need to pray and connect. Oh, I forgot. God is the only source. You're not my source. God is. Or maybe I'm doing something that I know is not really serving. I forgot. Let me go back to that place of connection and inspiration and wait. Be still and know and wait for that divine guidance. 5 basic steps.